Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Zen Lounge. Today we have a very special guest. If you guys are part of the Sologenic community on X, you know who this is. He is a legend of the community, and he offers some amazing in-depth knowledge, technical analysis, charting on Solo XRP. And we're going to ask him for some of his insights. What he thinks is coming. What do you think's the top is going to be for Solo, and just some of what you see coming in the next, the 12 months. So, BRW Solo, welcome to the show. First off, how long have you been in Solo, and like what got you into the project?
Yeah, so it was kind of around the airdrop time. I think it was around 2021. Um, I wasn't even a fan of Solo to begin with. I remember hearing about it, it was all hyped up. So what I ended up doing with the airdrop was I actually ended up selling it. I actually gave it to my mom. I was like, "Here, just take it," because I didn't really see anything good about the project at the time. But it wasn't until later on you start to see the development. You start to see this, coin just sort of like, hey, it's starting to build something. And of course, there's other people on Twitter that they've kind of, you know, for example, the BRW comes, that name comes from somebody, that we probably all know, some, who knows who he is, right? I just kind of tacked on that name onto myself because I thought it was sort of interesting that this guy's sharing Sologenic and he's really just optimistic about it. Now, that was a couple years ago. So now you look at it now, right? And goodness gracious, I mean, Solo, the way it's grown over the last couple of years, it makes sense. It's just we didn't realize that the market was going to just take such a long time because we're just going through a whole nother cycle. So now you look at everything how it is, how it's playing out now. I have this XRP chart right here, right? But you look at, if you can see my chart here, I think you can see that, right? You know,
Yeah.
we're starting this run now, and when you look at this, the how Solo is, just the way it's set up, right? Because obviously I'm going to give all the credit to you, Zen. I mean, like you've watched, you know um Sologenic grow, you've talked with the developers, you met with all those guys, and I've learned from you too, and Corium too, right? And just to see how, I got in around 18 cents. And I got in just around when this pump happened. If you can see that, it's around October 22. So I got in around there and I started accumulating pretty much throughout this entire bottom range here. And I actually made one mistake where I think I might have exited my XRP position a little too early. So there was just no way to know that the rotation was going to occur much later in the time. But you see this move right here, right around 11. So pretty much right after the election here with Trump, that was a huge move, big move, 1,300%. It was one of the best performing coins, of that month. And then it was just so unfortunate because I don't think anybody would have known this, but you see this big drop. I think that's an 81% crash right there, right? But it's not that, if I delete everything here, right, just to give a little bit of an idea, right? This is just a bare raw chart right here, right? Um, just a simple Fibonacci from the bottom to the top. Change something here. And I use logarithmic, right? 618. I'm all about these 618 targets. I mean, they play a huge role. Here's 618 right there, 18 cents. That was the bottom. I knew that was the bottom. I caught it. All the indicators showed it. And I said, okay, this is good. This is really good. That move is setting up. So that's when later on, I started calculating everything. And I was like, we have enough data on Solo to calculate everything. Obviously, you have to understand Bitcoin. You have to understand the market. You have to understand the macroeconomics. You have to understand, exactly how XRP looks. You will see the rotation is so powerful, this coming up move here, right? And I know you had Bunny on here a couple of weeks ago when you guys talked about a $14 target, right? And it really makes sense, Uh, if I kind of look at like Solo, the way I look at it is I always try to take things from the macro point of view. So like each candle here is 1 month, right? So what I'll do is I'll make some simple analysis, and what I'll try to do is, just try to draw where structures. I'm a structure trader. That's all I do. This is the only way I think is like the best way to set up price targets, right? Because when you understand structure in crypto, you understand everything. Okay. But you have to cross reference structure. And that's not always easy. It's a lot of work. and it takes a lot of time. But anyways, if I just kind of do like a, let's just say, for example, a trend Fibonacci here. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's right there. Yeah, if I pull this up here, let's say this is wave one, this is a wave two, right? Well, here in the next coming months, your 618, this is a wave three. This is the 1618. A wave three exceeds that amount. So $12 is not going to hit. It's going to exceed that. So $14, $20, maybe a wick to $20, come back down to, bunny's targets. Totally in the cards right there. That's
Oof.
just one way to look at it. So, and again, if I let me close this out and reset my chart. I think I sent that back to you. Give me 1 second here. Yep, here we go.
How long you been doing charting?
8 years. 8 years. Been doing this 8 years. I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of good mistakes in the beginning. Uh, I just study this every day. Like it's just, it's a passion of mine. Never was at first. I hated it. I was forced into it. But yeah, here it is, right? I'm sure you can see that right now, right? So if you look at Sologenic, right? I love these GAN fans. I think they're just absolutely just on target. I've done it for Bitcoin. I've done it for the market. I've done it for XRP. And I even had that post that just came out. These are really, really sharp targets. So, these are calculated lines, all of them here. Okay. The only ones that are not is when you go swing low to swing high and then swing high to swing low, right? So you're measuring two types of GAN fans and you're supposed to have converging angles. You can measure time this way too. So it's really cool because look, this golden line, it's a measurement. It's a 2-1 line. Look how that got rejected. Right on the money. I mean, literally just right on the money. That is just, it's really awesome to see that, right? We haven't broken that. But imagine once you break around right now, we're in this month, so I think it's 38 cents. 38 cents has got the magical, just a crazy amount of resistance. You break that, I mean, that $1.72 can still happen this month. I don't know, but 268 is probably going to come quicker than you think before we make our moves up to like that, 12, 15, and then eventually 70. Because if you look, you have a GAN fan line, which is the golden line right there. You can probably see it right there that I'm shooting it. It's an upslope. That's $70 this year, right? That makes a lot of sense given what we know about XRP, what we know about Sologenic and the supply. I mean, it's 150 times lower supply just about than XRP. So why wouldn't it, outperform, and it's not even outperforming that much. It's just a 3x or 4x or something. I think it may be like a 5x from XRP's move. So, this is the GAN fans, they play a big role because they respect the lines. You look at the GAN fans, how they're respecting the lines. You look at Fibonacci, and you put them all together, they're respecting them very well. So yeah, I'm very optimistic on Sologenic. I'm very optimistic on XRP, especially with the hype cycle we're on. So that was a lot that I threw at you right there, but I kind of wanted to just throw everything as much as I could in this one segment.
Dang. So what's the timeline on these targets that you're thinking?
It's probably going to have to be this year because um, if we're going to have an extended bull run, which I'm absolutely seeing, I do not see like a crash. I mean, if we're going to have a correction, it will be within a much higher range, you know. So if we see, let's say, for example, Solo hit $70, it will probably come down to this 8-1 GAN fan line. I mean, you could see it come down to, who knows, back to $20. That would make sense. You have a range, Fibonacci range in there too, right? So if I go back and
Do
I
you
look
think
at, for
do you
example,
do you
oh, go
think
ahead.
do you think the solo text announcement is going to play a role in this?
Yeah, I believe the product gets launched in August.
Yeah, August.
Yeah, yeah, and so I would expect the sell the news event, or at least for now, right? Let's say we have a month of correction in there somewhere, but if we have like a big move leading up to that hype, that would make a lot of sense to me, you know. So there's a lot of reasons why I believe even the end of this month we can still move up into July, into August, and then somewhere in August we may have a correction. and then maybe September, October, November, we'll see our last hoorah, maybe just for the interim top, like I've talked about, and then we could potentially just see the market sort of create a new cycle from there.
Nice, nice. So, are there any other like important data points that we need to know about, Sologenic that is like giving you these targets?
I, you know, other than this is a special hype cycle because it is institutional DeFi. DeFi saved Ethereum's butt back in the last cycle. And so DeFi played a huge role. Now that we're seeing, I mean, even you're part of the Sigma community, right? You guys are bringing in a lot of the retail on this side, onto the XRP side. And I think that's very important, right? Because you guys are doing a great job. I think that promoting the XRP ecosystem to grow, which eventually people are going to hear about coins like Solo and all this stuff. They're obviously a little different with the meme coins and tokenization coins. I mean, this really isn't a product that's directly should be offered to us. That's why marketing isn't needed with Sologenic.
Right,
It's
right,
not
right. So you
not to
believe
the
that too?
retail.
Yeah, it's not really necessary
Yeah,
for
yeah,
retail
totally.
because retail
Yeah,
isn't going to be tokenizing stocks. This is for the big boys.
no, for sure. I
You know
just
what I
talked about
actually
this the
heard
other day.
about when I was like what my research has told me is that before tokenization starts, there needs to be clear rule on stable coins. Today, as we're having this conversation, the Genius bill
Yep,
got
yep,
passed. So
yep,
stable
yep.
coins are the precursors to real world assets. So like we're on the precipice. I think there's going to be a lot of winners in the RWA space, but I betting on like the first one that's been doing it the longest and that's doing on the XRPL, Sologenic. So like we're basically right at the beginning stages of a possible RWA super cycle. And like you said, we've only been
Totally
chasing
agree.
retail money and now we're chasing the institutional money. No one's ever seen anything like this. So, you remember when BRW came out saying Sologenic 170, $170? Is it possible that we could hit that target?
Zen, I got cut out here.
I said, like,
Yep,
okay, so
sorry.
you're
Last
named
part.
off of BlackRock Whale, that account that came and disappeared
Yep,
and gave us the
yep,
alpha on Sologenic. He was giving targets up to $170. Is that possible, or is
yeah.
that just a meme, or?
Well, I really tried to investigate that for a long time, and I did buy into that. And as a matter of fact, it is. He never gave us really a time frame when that 170 could happen. Would it happen by the time XRP hits its maybe full target at $28 or maybe a little more? Yeah. I mean, who's to say he's wrong? Eventually, we'll get there. Yeah. I mean, eventually you could see a $800 solo. Probably
Eight
not
hundred
for
eight hundred
till
dollars
after 20.
solo? Are you serious?
Technically, it's possible, but it won't happen until after 2030. Just not in the charts for me. I just need to really just take the data, and I need to reassure myself that hey, the data supports the targets, right? I'm a super conservative, super realistic guy, right? But I'll use all the data as much as I can. So that's why I always say anybody that's got other chart data, please bring them to me because I would love to discuss it. Like what is it? I'm looking for information that I don't know, right? So if
Right.
anybody's got it, like I'd love to share that information. But yeah, there's a lot of potential for this move to hit. If we have XRP like I have drawn out here, like $16.60, that's just 2.7% of that. That's a $70 solar. We've done the math, we've checked it all out. Um, it, it would make sense it would happen in this speculative year. It wouldn't happen in an adoption year. It would happen in a very speculative time where everybody's caught off guard. That's usually where the most money is made, right?
Well, everyone's caught off guard right now with the war, and then the war is distracting everybody, and
Totally,
then the stablecoin bill come out.
totally.
Just like I said, that the stablecoins are the precursor for RWAs, so it does make sense. Everything's like, look over here, be distracted as this new
Oh
tech
yeah,
is being
totally.
revealed. So, where could
No, I
people,
understand you loud and
where can people that really want to get, because you give entire breakdowns and you go deep into it. Where can people go to find your channels and get your information?
yeah, just on the new X or the Twitter X. So you could just use what's I don't know if you can see my name on there, but it's at BRW under dash solo. If you'd like to join me, go ahead. If not, don't care. I'm just doing it for the community, for those who really, really want to pay attention to this kind of stuff. But definitely, I appreciate you, Zen, because you're the number one reason why I think this community is together. Where all the information really comes from, the gold information. I try to give you all the props there, and
You
I'm
know,
just trying to assist you.
a lot of people wanted some information on Corium, so I want you to come back and do Corium
Oh,
and do that
absolutely.
chart.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could do like a weekly thing. I was so excited to do this call with you. I literally like pulled over and uh talking to
Yeah,
you on my
for
lunch break.
sure. Yeah.
So like I want to do this regularly with you and also invite you to Twitter Spaces. We're gonna bring the Sologenic Twitter Spaces back as like this momentum
Yeah, absolutely.
shifting in our favor. We got all this good things gonna be coming for Solo. So we're gonna do Twitter Spaces. I want you to be a regular guest, and I want to do these YouTube channels on like a regular basis. So if you're down, that's what
I'm
I was
down for
thinking.
sure. We should definitely do it, because I think this project just needs to just explode out there. It's just to us, to the retail, man. We just need to see the right projects
So
flourish.
so before we end this stream, give us like your last closing statements on your bull thesis on why people should take a look or take a second look. Like you said, you got the airdrop, and then now you took a second look, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's something here. It's like, what's your ultimate thesis on why people should, look into this project?
Yeah, so a couple things. You have amazing macro structure. It's on the XRP. All of the regulation side is going to go on the XRP side. It's DeFi institution, right? And we see all the evidence here on the charts. There's going to be just a big move here because regulations is going to be the reason why we have the speculative move, this huge speculative momentum. But I would say, you know, just watch here in July. Let's see how, or even the end of the month. Once you start seeing this gigantic candle, you're going to start seeing the evidence, manifest. I wish I could show it to you right now, but I can't because we're not there yet. But save this chart, and you'll see how these lines actually play out very well. And but Bitcoin dominance is flipping down, so we are ready to start this run, and we're gonna end this cycle in a very very strong note. So
So your
whatever I can
targets,
say to
your first target's around $70.
that's the big target for the
Big
cycle entry
target.
top. Yeah,
Okay, the cycle top
yeah,
$70. Okay. Okay, man.
yeah. For the
That'll be
yeah,
crazy.
let's hope, right? We're just trying our best here, but I'll try to put out the best I can, and then of course I'll listen to you.
Well,
So
it did go
any
from five
information you got,
cents. The last cycle went from 5 cents to $6, and then recently it went from 8 cents to basically a dollar. So the next wave is going to be crazy. So I'm hyped. I'm
yeah,
glad to meet
yeah,
you and build this
yeah,
relationship.
you too, for sure.
And
Thank you, Zen. Appreciate it.
yeah, we'll do this again soon. We'll cover XRP, we'll cover Corium, and then we'll like basically maybe do some other things with you too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, you want to bring some more guests, we can collab on this stuff. It'd be awesome. Just you know, pick our minds here. But yeah, I love it. I appreciate it, Zen. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna close it down. Make sure to give BRW Solo a follow on X and subscribe to the Zen Lounge. Leave some comments, and we'll see you guys next video. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.